Hello there and welcome back to the channel. Today's date is August 20 May 2025, a lovely Friday. And you know what that means. It's time to dig into the archives for a trending paper that's just, well, it's just really cool. Alright, let's see what we've got today. Oh, this one looks fantastic. The title is AudioStory, generating long-form narrative audio with large language models. The color is Speed Works Cat 5 08.2088 font. It's long. So AudioStory. This one is trying to solve a problem that I think a lot of creators, and honestly, anyone who enjoys a good story, can appreciate. You know those text-to-audio tools we have now? You type in like dog barking and poof. You get a short clip of a dog barking. Super neat, right? But what if you want more? What if you want a whole scene? Like a suspenseful chase through a rainstorm. You'll hear footsteps splashing in puddles, and a loud roar of thunder, followed by a car skidding on wet pavement, and finally, a door slamming shut. That's not just 4 separate sounds, that's a story. It is timing, tension, a whole lot. Existing models, they just can't handle that. They're great at generating one-off sounds, but they fall apart when you ask them to tell a long, coherent audio story. They lose consistency. The timing is off. It just becomes a jumbled mess. That's the big problem this paper is tackling. And their solution is called, you guessed it, ArXiv. What they've done is pretty genius, really. They've basically hired a director for the AI audio generator. And that director is a large language model. And long. So, the law reads your complex instruction or story prompt. It thinks about it, you know, like a director reading a script. And it breaks the whole thing down into a sequence of smaller scenes or events. It uses this, what they call the data nila nana strategy. It plans out the timing, the emotional tone, the transitions. It creates a whole storyboard, but for audio. One of the coolest parts is how the LLM talks to the audio generator. It's not just sending plain text. They created this special communication channel, a decoupled bridging mechanism. It sends 2 kinds of signals, or tokens. First, there are semantic tokens. These are for the meaning of what. Like, this sound should be a menacing laugh. And then, and this is the clever bit, it also sends residual token. These carry all the nuanced, low-level details, the how. Things like the timbre of the echo room. The subtle acoustic cues that make the laugh sound like it's in the same space. That's the rain sound from 2 seconds ago. This separation helps maintain incredible consistency. And they train the whole system, the LLM director and the audio generator, together from end to end. This means they learn to work together perfectly. The director gets better at giving instructions, and the generator gets better at understanding them. It's like a director and a sound designer who have worked together for years. They just got each other. Okay, so how does this apply to our everyday lives? Though the possibilities are huge, let's brainstorm a few. First, video games. This is a game changer though. Imagine a game where the soundscape is generated dynamically. Based on exactly what's happening, you are sneaking through a forest, and the game's AI director generates a unique, coherent audio track on the fly. You hear the gentle rustling of leaves, a bird chirping. But as an enemy gets closer, the AI adds a snapping twig in the distance. The music subtly shifts to a more tense tone, and you hear a low growl that seems to come from right behind you. Every playthrough would have a unique, perfectly responsive soundtrack. No more repetitive audio loops. Second, think about content creation like podcasts or audiobooks. A podcaster telling a historical story could just write their script and then add instructions in brackets like, create an immersive sound to make of a bustling antique and cheery London street, with horse-drawn carriages, street vendors shouting, and distant clock tower. And the AudioStory would generate the entire high-quality, long-form background audio. It could turn a simple audio, making it way more engaging. A third, filmmaking and animation. The paper actually uses Tom and Jerry as an example, which is perfect. You could feed it a silent animation of a classic chase scene, and give it the instruction, generate a Tom and Jerry style soundtrack. The model would analyze the video, identify the key events, like Tom setting a trap, Jerry cleverly avoiding it, and then generate a perfectly synchronized score, complete with all the zany orchestral hits, slide whistles, and comical sound effects. This could save animators and sound designers hundreds of hours. Now, how does this stack up against other tech? Well, compared to standard text-to-audio models like Stable Audio, it's a whole different league. Those models are like calculators for single sounds. AudioStory is like a full-fledged storyteller that can write an entire chapter. It has that crucial planting and reasoning ability for long. Then you have these things called agenting workflows. Those are systems that use a bunch of different specialized eyes. One for speech, one for music, one for effects. And the main controller trying to manage them all. The problem is, they don't usually train together, so the final result can be a bit clunky and inconsistent. AudioStory's end training makes it much more seamless and synergistic. It's a true team effort. Finally, you have the big multimodal ones, the tiny to learning models. They can do a bit of everything: text, images, audio. But they're yahoos of all trades and masters of none, especially for audio. Their audio generation is usually limited to very short, simple clips. AudioStory is a specialist, designed from the ground up to excel at creating long, structured, narrative audio, and results really show that. So yeah, ArXiv. It's not just about making sounds from text. It's about telling stories with sound. And that, I think, is just incredibly exciting. What a fascinating piece of work.